Hello, my fellow patriots. This is Alex with Disabled Vets Perspective, and this is Belynda. Welcome back, Belynda. We've all missed you terribly.
Well, thank you for having me
back.
back.
It's so cool to have you back on the show.
Well, thanks for having me back.
What do you think of the new set?
Huh?
I say, what do you think of the new set?
I like it a lot. I like that.
Got to get it on record.
I like that flag. It's very, very nice.
Yeah, it's the first night I'm using my green screen technology, so I'm trying to add a little bit to the magic of the show, so it's not just a miserable, ugly talking head for an hour at a time. But obviously, I'm talking about mine, not yours, so I've got to be clear about that. But
you don't have.
It's good to see you. It's good to have you back.
I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, when I put my real one on, though, it's rough. Let me wave a hand real quick to the folks that have jumped in here. Got Margot, of course. She jumped in early. Jeff, good to see you guys. Iron Crane, welcome. I saw, she just fell out. She'll be back in a second. Christy, welcome. I see. Good to see you. Welcome. Good to see everybody. Miss Belynda will be back here in just 1 minute. Let me throw this link back in here for a second because she probably hit a button. She does that sometimes. Oh, the air conditioner is loud. All right, so interesting show. No, interesting show tonight. We got some decent headlines coming up. If Belynda, hello, DM, good to see you. As soon as Belynda sees that I put the link back up, she'll be back in a minute. But I've got some interesting stuff lined up for the first half in the headlines, some good stuff that I found pertaining to the military and to the VA. And the back half of the show, we're going to be talking about claims and pensions, some of the things that are hidden from the veterans that they need to know about when they're dealing with their claims. Ancient Drummer, good to see you. Welcome. I'm trying to get her back. See if she'll come back here in a second. I want to give her a chance to come back on because I'm sure her computer may have reset or something before I open up my articles, because then I cover up the screen and I won't be able to see her waving frantically down below trying to get back on. But, anyway, so I hope everybody is having a good evening. And a little note that I'll mention, just as soon as I jump off of this channel, I'm going to be doing a guest spot over at Lee's channel. And Lee's channel, let's see, let me open it up here, if it'll open up. Let me see if it says it here. Oh, come on, computer. It's not that hard to be sped up a little bit. Welcome back, Belynda. We missed you again.
Thank you.
For whatever reason, I'm not able to get it open. But, all right. So, anywho, welcome, Pete. Good to see you, brother. All right. So, you ready to get started on this shindig? She's on, yes. Yeah, she's on. We got her. Yes.
I sent Lisa.
Thank you,
text.
DM. Red Nation. Yeah, we are going to be, as soon as we're done here, I'm going over there to join them on their show. So Lee and Lockhart Perspective are going to be hosting a show, and I'll be their guest this evening. So that's cool. She just fell out again. Belynda, you got to stop that. Let me paste it again. I'm not sure what's going on there. Huh? Yeah, I'm not sure why exactly it keeps falling out. But all right, so while I'm waiting for her to come back, I'm going to move this so I can see my screen. And I'm going to go ahead and hit one of the articles that I found right off the bat. Uh, all right, so there apparently one of our subs ran aground. It says Captain warned the crew wasn't ready before sub ran aground. Investigation shows. Um, they're supposed to be in training all the time, so that's a cop out excuse apparently. So they're gonna have to pull a sub out onto dry dock and get it fixed. Um, anyway, so that's one of them things. U.S. signs a deal with the Taliban to end Afghanistan war and bring home the troops. Now, I've heard that there's a issue with that. Hello, Duke. Yeah, computer rebooted us. I figured mine does that too, but I think I finally got it set up so that it'll only do that after my normal business hours. So it took a while to figure that out. So anyway, DOHA, Qatar, the United States, and the Taliban agreed on a peace deal Saturday that calls for swift reductions in U.S. forces in Afghanistan in return for commitments by the militant group to reject foreign terrorists, a major step forward to ending America's longest war. Yeah, and then some. Luciano, how you doing? To shouts of "God is great," the accord was signed by the U.S. and Taliban negotiators side by side in a luxury hotel ballroom in a scene once all but unthinkable. The sides agreed that the U.S. will cut its troop levels from around 12,000 to 8,600 by early summer, and eventually to withdraw completely from Afghanistan if Al-Qaeda and other terror groups do not reemerge there. So we're in the right direction. We might be getting our boys and girls home, and that's not a bad thing in anybody's book. Anyway, so that's part of the good thing. Let's see. We know about the sniffles virus. So the virus of many names, not to be named. So it says evacuees passed through Travis Air Force Base, and I got a commercial. And did safety plan breakdown? Yes, it did. The good news came on February 18th for about 180 people who'd been holed up in the West Wind Inn, the on-site hotel at Travis Air Force Base in Fairfield. It's actually Northern California, or Central California, rather. The 2 weeks in quarantine after their evacuation from China had crawled by as they interacted with a team of local, state, and federal health officials. Okay, let me put the link back in here so that we can get Miss Belynda back. Whoop, there it is. All right, she should be back here. Mo, Scotian, Ricky, Jake. All right. On that Tuesday, most everyone who'd visited Wuhan had cleared to go home. A handful had been sent to local hospitals for monitoring. The others dispersed. Many boarding flights from Sacramento to their homes throughout the U.S. So they are back in society. I guess that's a good thing. I don't have the. I did just put the link, Belynda. Here it is again. All right, there it is. Whoop, there it is. She's got to hit it first. All right, so we're on track to figure something out on these folks from Travis. So we'll see what happens with that. U.S. says the Chinese ship fired a laser at American aircraft. That can't be good. Yeah, it says he fired at an aircraft. Chinese Navy ship fired a laser at a U.S. surveillance aircraft flying over the Philippine Sea west of Guam, the Navy said Thursday, acknowledging the incident more than a week after it happened. The Navy said People's Republic of China naval air destroyer lased the American P-8A Poseidon aircraft. Welcome back. She's back. They lased the P-8A Poseidon aircraft. The U.S. deemed unsafe and a violation of international codes and agreements. The statement from the U.S. Pacific Fleet said the laser was detected by sensor on the aircraft, but was not visible to the naked eye. Yeah, our friends, the Chinese. Yeah. All right. Okay, we got you back, right? Audio
Yes.
working, video working.
Yes.
Okay. How about the delay? Do we still have a delay?
Yes.
Apparently. Yes. Okay. So I'll remember to ask a question and shut up for a few minutes while you get ready to answer. I guess one thing I should mention is if you are looking for the VA websites, what are those, Belynda? Obviously, Intergovernmental Affairs is down, but all the rest of them are too, right?
Well, they came back up. I checked them right before I logged on with you, and they're back up. And what they've done is they've updated it for the coronavirus.
Oh, okay. The virus that shall not be named.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. By the way, Pete Buttigieg dropped out of the race today, and so did Tom Steyer. So I already did a video about Tom Steyer, but Buttigieg was just before we went live, so that's kind of good news. Let him drop off like flies. But
Yeah. And with
anyway,
Bernie,
so what's been going on with you?
Well,
Yeah.
besides can't get well for some reason, and no, I don't have the coronavirus. That's about it. Just been having trouble getting well.
So she
But
hasn't been avoiding me, folks. It's not like that. So
no, I can talk without coughing every 5 seconds. You know, it's this cough just won't go away.
yeah, that seems to be the part that always hangs on the longest.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I am live on D-Lab right now. DM the mods over there. Kevin Morfan is over there, I think. I'm not sure how many I got. 3. Got 41 followers on D-Live, so if you guys haven't subscribed to D-Live, make sure you do that. Follow me on D-Live. There's no subscribe, but anyway, so that's a good place to catch me if YouTube decides they're done with me. And Belynda, then we'll still be able to come up over there. But anyhow, so what I've been reading here is go ahead.
I've seen that a lot of people have lost YouTube accounts, Twitter accounts, and they've all, pretty much the only thing I subscribe to is conservative, people. And a lot of them have lost their YouTube channel, their Twitter accounts with, hundreds of thousands of followers. And one Twitter account didn't even have an explanation. It was just closed.
Yeah, there's a lot of it.
No appeal.
Well, they on this one, they've kept me. I just hit 1,740 subscribers after almost 2 full months. I missed it by 1 day to be 2 months at 1,730, but I'd been getting subscribers every day. So they're just not giving them to me when people hit the subscribe button. But twice now, I was at 3,900 view hours once, and they took 2,700 away from me. I hit 3,700 view hours here recently, and then they took another 200 away from me. So the games are real, and they're doing everything they can to keep the word from getting out. It's pretty frustrating, but we just keep jamming on through and hope we can reach the people that we intend to reach.
Yeah. Like when we were on that show with those people going down to look at the wall, starting a conservative platform. I don't have any money. I can't start a conservative platform, but that's See, Bloomberg could invest his money in that if he's so equal and fair.
Right. Right. Yeah, but they don't want a they don't want an independent thought. They have to maintain their groupthink so that they can keep people suppressed and at their beck and call.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
anyhow, we know on the I started with a couple of headlines. I want to, since you said that the channel is back up for the VA,
Yeah,
I
I'm
want to see if
looking.
there are any significant headlines. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm looking at va.gov and it says, you can click on this link for updates on the coronavirus. And if you have symptoms of the flu, don't go call first before you go in. And that's a smart thing to do. Just call before you go
Right. So
into
you
your
don't.
primary care or urgent care. Anybody call
Right.
first before you go so they can kind of segregate you from the rest of the sick people that are there at the doctor.
Right. Well, it looks like as far as the intergovernmental affairs, it's obviously been a pretty slow week, almost 2 weeks, because there are no new headlines at all or no new information on that page. So that
Not
saves me
even
a
for
little
the
bit of time.
coronavirus?
Nothing. So it's
Wow.
hard to say how long they've been under maintenance on that one section, but it's ridiculous. But there's enough going on in other headlines that I'm not too worried about it. Let me see. I've already done the military.com. There's only three headlines that had any real significance to them. Oh, well, here's some sad news. One of the last remaining Pearl Harbor survivors dies.
Oh no.
I wonder if this is the same one that they had. Let's see. Pearl Harbor survivor. Peabody, one of the country's last remaining Pearl Harbor survivors, dies Thursday at Rosewood Nursing and Rehabilitation Center in Peabody at the age of 98. Emery Arsenault was working at the radar station at Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941, when Japanese airplanes bombed the U.S. Navy base in Hawaii, triggering the United States entry into World War II. So, God rest his soul. We're losing the last few of the greatest
Of the Great
generation.
War. Isn't that what they called it? The Great War.
Yep. And World War One was wars, which obviously didn't work out well. Buzzport, how you doing? Lulu, welcome. So what you got? Charity, good to see you.
Did you go over that the Army won't follow the Marine Corps and rename Confederate bases?
I had not heard that, but good. Fight the power. Right on.
The Army has no plans to mirror the order by the Marine Corps Commandant instructing to remove Confederate-related paraphernalia from bases across the world. That's silly.
Well, the thing they forget is those people were American military too. Maybe they weren't fighting for reasons that others would agree with, but they're still soldiers, and to just erase them as American patriots, they were fighting what they believed was true, and they felt like they were patriotic to the country. So to erase them and dismiss them isn't fair.
Yeah, and so it'll be erased from the history books.
How you doing?
And
Right.
It'll be erased.
Yep.
People won't know. Next, they'll erase the Holocaust, and we'll be the old people that tell stories.
Right. And then the young people will say, "Oh man, that's not true. They didn't teach us that in school."
Yeah.
We're losing a generation.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. So in the Military Times, the sons of Tuskegee Airmen share history lessons with students. Lieutenant Colonel Howard Bow's sons, Howard and Richard, recounted their father's story to a small group of Richmond Public School students and teachers on February 25th at the Virginia War Memorial. That is pretty cool. Much respect.
Yeah, there's also some ugly news on that page about a paratrooper. Did you see that?
No, enlighten me.
It's just ugly. The paratrooper beat an elderly couple to death.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah. That's, I don't know, probably a young guy that thinks, has no control over their emotions or their ability to think through situations.
Right. Well, we know that just because they wear a uniform doesn't make them a saint,
No.
Look at the Lieutenant Colonel Vendeman, sir. He's filth. He's a disgrace to the uniform. So there are some absolute losers that wear the uniform, and that's really disappointing to say. But what can you do?
Well, and so many people criticize President Trump, saying that he was being petty with getting Vindman out of the building the way he did. I do the same thing. You're going to do that to me? You're gone. There. Yeah. And I'm going to do a little perp walk.
Like drill sergeant on his ass.
Yeah, he's disgusting. And he's still in the military because they can't prove he did anything wrong.
Yeah, I know. Except for leaking information.
Mm-hmm. Making up information with his feelings. Whatever. Everybody and all these damn feelings.
Yeah. Nobody cares about their feelings. This headline here, Montana is how it starts, and it says, comma, Idaho, 10th Mountain Division chapter closing down. An almost impossible nighttime climb up a cliff high in the mountains of northern Italy. The heavy backpacks he lost, and with it all his ammunition, food, blankets, and letters from back home. The artillery blast that crippled Orville Bjorge on River Ridge 75 years ago, Thursday, February 20th, the dangling stretcher ride over the steep canyon on the makeshift tram. He's 97 now, retired from life of cattle ranching and farming in a spread between Paulson and Hot Springs. But Bjorge is still standing and still remembering clearly his day with the U.S. Army's 10th Mountain Division in World War II. Most of the time, what I'm looking for is, are they closing and disbanding the 10th Mountain Division? I can't get a good answer in this article yet. But the way the headline was written, it sounds like they're... Say again?
I haven't heard of any disbandments coming around.
Well, it says the Big Sky chapter of the 10th Mountain Division Association was established. It just blanked out, Lisa. It just established following the war and graduates to the veterans, children who formed a support group of their own about 15 years ago. So, it's again,
a group.
Clear.
It's an organization.
What am I looking at here? I can't turn it down. Anyway, so I don't know, but it just seems like that would be the end of one of the oldest organizations, one of the oldest military groups that this country has got. next to the horseless headsman.
So, what
First
do you think
cab.
about the Iraq and U.S. Agreement, or the Taliban, whoever it is?
If it means getting the troops home, oh wow. Lisa just handed me something that's apparently breaking, but this says a biker dad, Patriot Guard rider killed escorting body of last survivor of USS Arizona.
Mm.
Man, that sucks. Yeah,
Those guys, I
go
went to
right
that
now.
funeral. They had a funeral here for an unclaimed veteran that had died in St. Augustine, and the Patriot Guard
Right.
riders were there, and it was so moving, and it was so wonderful. 500 people showed up. It was great. It was really, and
Yeah.
it was just really great.
Well, I'm a member of the Patriot Guard, but because of my situation with my legs, I haven't been able to ride my bike. So we're just about to have that puppy paid off. So it's going to be dragged out of the garage. I'm going to get some wheelie downs on it, and we're going to get back on the road. But
Oh, that'll be
I
fun.
just got to wait till I get those payments off. Yeah, I'm ready to get back. You was thinking conservatives. Hillary should have won.
What?
Good point.
All right, somebody still complaining about that?
John Jacobs just jumped in here and just said that. But it's all good.
I can't see any
D-Drive,
chat at
welcome.
all.
All right. So, do you have your D-Live or StreamYard up?
I do.
Right at the top of the chat board, it should say live chat. Usually doesn't come on automatically. If you push that, the live chat will come up, so you can see it while you are
So
guesting
afraid to
on
push
somebody
the
else's channel. That's what she said. Anywho,
button. There.
all right, what's going on over here at D-Live real quick? Because we're getting ready to get the oh, well, thank you for the lemons. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Pete the Patriot dropped 3 lemons on me, and DM Damad dropped a lemon on me. I feel so sour. All right, so on D Live, there's that little thing called the chest. I don't know what I'm doing on D Live yet, but I have a feeling that if I open that chest, something miraculous happens. So remind me at the end of the show, and I'm going to crack that chest. It's got 9.1 lemons in it, so I mean it's something. So we'll see who can go home with the prize in the chest. Propus, how you doing? All right, so you know what? We're at the second half of this show already because we've been blabbering, but blabbering's good. I want to go ahead and get into our subject. You know, about the claims and pensions. We can both give a lot in this region, and I think it's important information. So I don't want to cut into that worrying about other headlines because I didn't find anything of any major significance tonight.
Okie dokie. Well,
If I have time, about 10 minutes till the end of the show, if I have time, I've got some bills that passed. I do want to maybe talk about that.
okay.
We'll do that. I'll do that right at the end.
Okay.
All
Can
right.
you hear
So,
me?
anyway, claims and pensions.
Well, I've learned a
One
lot
of the
about.
various subjects within. Go ahead. Sorry about the delay.
It's okay. Here lately, my husband's had to reopen his claim, and now you can do it. I'm sure, as most everybody knows, online, and you can get. They ask for a
Yeah, it
nexus.
chokes me up too.
They ask for a nexus letter, which you have your civilian doctor fill out. What we didn't know is that they charge the average charge, and my daughter works in the medical field. They charge $50 a page. and it's a 7-page form
Right.
that they have to fill out. But with that small investment pays off greatly because the VA is listening more to the civilian doctors than they are to the CMP. You still might have a CMP
Right.
exam.
One second. One second. I don't want to break the train of thought here, but I want to acknowledge Fuzzforks 8 didn't mention to Rita's last comment. It says the U.S. veterans need to sue the United Nations for physical and mental illness suffered under their police actions order under their command. It's a nice thought, but the United Nations is pretty well protected from the individual, and they've got protections that go beyond, I believe, what we are capable of breaking into. It'd be something to look into, but I don't think there's going to be much success trying to go after the UN, United Nations. It's just they're too well entrenched. They've got too many countries backing them, and they could bankrupt you while you're trying to sue them just by keeping you in litigation for 20 years. But anyway, so sorry about that, Belynda. Go ahead. You were talking about the forms to fill out.
It's a Nexus form. But for
what is
that
that
your
exactly?
doctor might charge more. I'm on a veteran group on Facebook. I saw one poor lady paid $1,000 for her 7-page Nexus form. But Randy saw the same doctor.
Exactly. What is it?
What does
that
stand
mean
for?
when they say Nexus? Yeah.
I have no idea. Let me just look that up. But anyway, what does Nexus mean?
Oh, see, I caught her off guard.
What? It's a DVQ form, but I don't know what it means. So let me see if I can.
Okay, but it's basically, where do they go to find that form when they want to do this?
It's all on My Healthy Vet. Everything is on there under the
My Healthy Vet.
Apply for additional benefits. Yeah, you go on va.gov. All these sites are pretty much the same, and but with some people don't have.
If you have a pending case, right? What I was going to say is, with a pending case, if you already have a case that's filed, we know that they're trying to fight the system right now to get ahead of these archived or legacy claims. If you file an additional amendment to your claim, does that get you pulled from the legacy pile and restarted from the back like it would have originally, or is there some kind of program to keep that from happening right now?
I haven't seen anything that even talks about that, so I don't know. But we reopened a claim and then submitted new information with, a new claim with that Nexus letter. And I just wanted people to know about the cost, what the cost can be. But the benefit of that is you have a high chance of having success with getting your claim approved and increasing your disability. So a small upfront fee could really pay off in the long run. And a lot of these claims are being handled in 6 months or less.
Yeah, because they're trying to get ahead of these legacies where they've had claims pending, like mine was 17 and a half years. They're trying to get caught up on those and start getting it into realistic numbers, because even Social Security disability doesn't take more than a couple of years on average. But one thing is interesting, that they're doing these Nexus forms, because if you go to a claim and pension exam or a CMP exam, then anything that you say to that physician when they try to get a patient history, which is normally what a doctor does, they ask you what's wrong, what are you feeling, what are your symptoms? That's called patient history. But in a CMP exam, anything you say to them, I've got a headache, oh, that's just hearsay. So the only way around that is to go through this outside doctor using these Nexus programs, Nexus letters.
And they
That's
also
the only
want
way
you
to
to
keep it fixed.
submit buddy statements, which would be like, if I suffered from chronic headaches, you, Alex, would write a letter saying, I know Belynda and I know she has these debilitating headaches and it's been going on, forever. You also need to submit what you're talking about is called a buddy letter. And, I had to do that with Randy.
That's very interesting.
I had to submit a buddy letter for his this claim. And yeah, it's all,
Yeah.
it's, huh?
No, I was going to say that, the buddy letter has got to be something brand new, because when I go to a physician, my doctor, I can take, and when the reason I take her in there is because anything I say to the doctor is hearsay. So as long as she hears everything that I say to him and that he says to me, then she is a fact witness. So if you can handle having somebody with you in your exams, regardless of what they are, it's a good idea to do it, to have a buddy system, either a very close friend or a spouse or a girlfriend, whoever, but try to have somebody as a fact witness for everything that you do, every interaction that you make with the VA. The interesting thing is, when you have a CMP exam, that is the one place where you are not allowed to have a person attend that interview with you. So they look for ways to cover it up and to keep you from accessing the benefit.
Well, we've had minor success, and his last CMP exam was for the continuation of benefits, and he was in there
Vince,
10
you
minutes.
should take your wife in with you. Yes. Yeah, Vince Dunn just said he should take his wife in there with him, and I said yes, absolutely. Hello, Benny Mobby, good to see you. Yeah, you should. But go ahead.
I forgot what I was saying, but under compensation,
Did I derail you?
it's okay. It's okay. They have disability benefit questionnaires, DBQs, and all this can be done online now. And you can upload the forms, and that keeps a lot of the heartburn away, when you're having to deal with the VFW,
Right.
or whoever helps you, because nobody's going to write it as good as you're going to write it. That's why when you get your doctor's notes after every visit and you say, like, God, this guy forgot, a whole chunk of the appointment,
Hello, PTXFS. Thank you for coming. Propus gave a lemon. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, I keep forgetting sometimes I got to look over here at my DLive because people are still communicating with me over here. One of these days I'm going to remember I got both things going, so I got to be good at back and forth. But so the other thing that you mentioned I found very interesting was that your husband was able to get a convalescent period at 100%. That was something I had not heard of yet. What was that about exactly?
He had a heart attack December 16th. And when we were looking at some of the claim stuff, because he's, filing this new claim, I came across a whole section on if you've had a heart attack, you can get 3 months of 100% disability if you're not already 100%. You qualify for that. You have to send in, of course, your information, and we did everything online. And they sent him, a message, and it said they needed 1 or 2 more pieces of paper. We sent that, so we're fully expecting to get the 3 months of 100% disability that the VA has, but they don't tell you these little nuances. They don't tell you. I mean, I'd never heard that before from anybody. And I know a lot of people in the military that have had heart attacks, and I just haven't heard that from anyone.
Right.
If any of you guys have
Is there a grace
attacks,
period?
I hope not. Hmm?
Is there a period of time that you have to file that?
A year is
For
what I
example, if
saw.
you have a heart attack, but you didn't. Oh, at a year. A year. Okay. So you have a year to file if you've had a heart attack in order to get 100% for 3 months in convalescence. So that can make a difference in a lot of things.
Yeah, it
Anyway,
really
so
can, because a lot of people can't work after they've had a heart attack, depending on, what procedures had to be done, the condition of their heart, cardiac rehabilitation and all that. And,
right,
it could be very, very for anybody, it is very, very handy. So I hope none of y'all
right.
have a heart attack,
Been
but if
down
you do, file for your
5 years,
benefit.
but I'm a glutton that way. But Vince Dunn said he fought 5 years for his right knee as part of his disability, and they kept denying it. And that's their favorite sport. That's why I always say stay in the fight, because they will deny, and all you can do is keep appealing. It makes you very, very frustrated. I know your pain. 17 and a half years, and a lot of that time I literally spent laying on my back, losing job after job because my back would go out and I couldn't keep going. Absolute abject poverty, destitute, and scraping for survival. And I stayed in the fight because I didn't have a choice. I had to get the help, or don't know what the other things might have been if I wouldn't have finally gotten the disability rating. Because right now I got a 2-hour window that I can even be on my feet. We go to Walmart to go grocery shopping. I walk around the Walmart. By the time I get home, I don't have very little feeling left in my legs. I can barely get up and down out of a chair. And so, if I were like this now and I still were fighting for disability, I can't imagine that I would have been able to get any kind of job, because I can't sit for a long period of time, can't walk for a long period of time. It's just screwed.
Yeah, I'm glad that it all worked out for you. Did the man that had trouble with his right knee replacement, did he ever get his claim approved?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
He said it was. So it took him 5 years, but he's also trying to figure out how he's going to talk his wife into going into exam rooms with him. The bottom line is you got to beg her. I mean, if it comes down to it, you say, look, nothing that I say to the doctor will ever count in your in your defense. So if you can't have somebody with you, it makes it that much harder to get a claim, because everything you say is hearsay and it will not be admissible in your hearing.
Well, what's great now
Uh,
is you can print out everything you talked about in your appointment, and you can submit that. If if your doctor filled out everything about your appointment, typed it all in the computer. But I have for me, a stack of papers, 4 to 6 inches tall, and it's everything from every message
so you
I've
got a
ever
small
sent.
one.
Yeah, phone call I've ever made. I mean, it's all in there, and it takes an inordinate amount of time to get it all sorted out. But when you
Right.
do, you have it. There's no way they can say no, that didn't happen, because you submit their form right back to them.
Right. But yeah, there are some things that have changed since I got my claim finally, and one of them is the patient statement form, and what you're talking about, where they type in what you say to them, because I guess up until this point, or whenever they started doing that, they wanted to keep using the hearsay so that they can, just keep you out of the decision making for your best interest.
Hmm. Well, now
Oh,
everything's online. You don't know
Scarecrow sent me an ice cream. Thank you.
what are lemons
I'm
and
sorry,
ice
what?
creams. What are lemons and ice creams?
Oh, you got to keep up. You're so old school. Oh, that's D Live. It's bit currency, and D Live has a thing where people pitch currency at each other, and you got lemons, ice creams, diamonds, ninjagini, which is a ninja driving a Lamborghini, pretty cool stuff, and then a ninjet, which is a ninja driving a jet. So they put their lemons in there, they put their ice creams in there. It helps you build your channel, but it also, some of it goes into your chest. So when you build up your treasure chest, you can open that puppy up, and then apparently people scrounge and scurry to try to get a hold of what comes out of the treasure chest. So it's kind of funny. Get some interaction in the live stream for the people that are sitting through the long, boring, monotone, talking head. Anyway, not hot ice cream, not fried ice cream, no. So what else can you add to the claims and pensions part of things as far as what you feel? Okay, one thing I can add is before they had this thing where they had the Nexus forms where you could get your doctor to fill it out, that didn't exist. So my father, fortunately, when I had my injury resembled what my father's professional background was in rotary craft mishap, hard landings, things like that. That was his specialty when he was in the Navy. He was a flight surgeon. So finally I had a CMP exam, and when they wrote the report, it resembled a hard landing in a rotary craft because of the way that my truck hit and destroyed my back. But because of that, he was able to completely destroy their official report using military language and all of that. But he wrote an 86-page rebuttal to my last CMP exam that absolutely annihilated everything that they did. They had wrong information. They misquoted regulations and all kinds of stuff. So he was able to nail them to the wall with that one mistake they made, and finally got my decision approved.
Well, that's good. I think they've just tried to make things less, not as much paper, at least on their end. And all I know is that I've seen tons and tons and tons of people have fantastic success doing it themselves. And like I said, you're the best advocate for yourself, with these new things that are coming out now, not back then. But you're the best advocate for you because you and you know what you want to say, and you know what parts need to be highlighted and all. And that's really all I have. But so, I will keep you updated as we progress through this process, with each different step.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So does that mean this isn't a one-time deal? You're not going to abandon us again?
Well, no, I'm not.
I know the whole sick excuse. I've heard it all. I've been married almost 30 years. I know the headaches and all the sick and whatever. So,
oh my God!
No, nothing but love for you. I promise. Just we missed the screw out of you. I mean, it was rough. So just glad to have you back. It's cool to have my partner in crime back on my Sunday show. Let's see what's going on over here in D-Live real quick, and then I want to go over a couple of bills that went through. Vince Dunn, drop the lemon. Thank you, Vince. I like the dog. So it's not sick, just twisted. Understood. All right. Okay, so one thing I found while I was thumbing around through headlines and things like this is a little bit of good news for veterans in the way of bills that were passed, bipartisan bills. Very interesting stuff. I wanted to go over them real quick before we finish up. I got 9 minutes left of the show, so I'm probably going to go through these a little quicker than that. But these are 9 bills that pertain directly to veterans that were passed with bipartisan support. The first one is House Resolution 2409 to allow certain service members to terminate their cable, satellite television, and internet access service contracts while deployed. HR 2409 if they can't write things right, would extended existing federal protections to cable and satellite television service under the Service Members Civil Relief Act. Under this legislation, service members would only need to provide notice and a copy of their active duty orders to cable and satellite providers to terminate their contracts without penalty. All I can say is it's about time on that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
House Resolution 2787. What was that?
That was a good one. Necessary. It's a shame we even have to do that.
Yeah, I was just saying that to Lisa earlier. Why do we have to have bills and laws for this? Because it's kind of like, duh, if you're leaving, you're deployed, it shouldn't be like rocket science. Okay, you can't use my cable anymore. Oh, okay, that's $200. Nope. So yeah, it's a good one. House Resolution 2787, the VET MID Act. The VET MID would direct the Department of Veterans Affairs to carry out a 3-year pilot program beginning no later than August 15th, 2020, in at least 5 regionally diverse VA medical centers to provide undergraduate students a clinical observation experience within the VA. That one gets a hoorah, kind of thing, because remember what we were talking about? Let people do residencies in the VA.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is a stepping stone. This could do it.
Maybe.
It's a start.
Maybe.
All right. House Resolution 5538, the Reserve Component Vocational Rehabilitation Party Act. The Reserve Component Vocational Rehabilitation Party Act would add eligibility for vocational rehabilitation and employment for active service under certain reserve orders. So, interesting. While you're, I guess, active in a reserve status, you can go to vocational rehabilitation. That could be interesting.
Yeah.
Now, this one is interesting. This is House Resolution 5649, and these are resolutions, but they did pass. So they're House, they're done. Anyway, 5649, the Navy SEAL Chief Petty Officer William Bill Mulder Transition Improvement Act of 2018. This one took a long time to pass. Let's see, Transition Improvement Act of 2018 would make improvements to the transition assistance programs and overall transition process for service members to include more of a focus on career opportunities and entrepreneurship. So finally, it looks like we might be getting some sort of a active duty to civilian transition thing started. So we'll see kind of where that goes.
Yeah, they need to do that better.
Next one here. Yeah. Yeah. You can be on a battlefield today and at home at the dinner table tomorrow. So yeah, they got to work on that. House Resolution, what is that one? 5864, the VA Help Act. The VA Help Act would require VA within 180 days of enactment to establish qualification standards and performance matrix for VA HR positions and provide a report a Congress containing such standards and matrix. They got to report to the Congress. Require a GAO to submit a report to the House and the Senate committees on Veterans Affairs containing a description and the implementation assessment of the quality of such standards and matrix. So if they want to change the way things are done, it has to be approved by the House and the Senate.
Let me throw something in there. When Randy met the VA cardiologist, the guy didn't want to prescribe medicine because he had too many patients to see. Let your primary care follow you on that. He didn't. He said, "Oh, you don't really need cardiac rehab because that's in Gainesville. So, I'm not going to send you there." And we did have a young doctor in there from, I think she was from Mayo, that was learning her craft. That's what she was specializing in. And she's asking all these pertinent questions. And this guy's just like, nope, we don't need to worry about any of that. There's 100,000 of them and only 3 of us. Well, it flew all over me. That just, we're talking about my husband's life here and you're too busy. Maybe you need to be asking for more
Yeah.
people instead of brushing him off. So it is patient, take care of yourself is what it comes down to sometimes at the VA.
Absolutely. All right, the next one here is House Resolution 5882, the Goldstar Spouses Leasing Relief Act. This one I can just say is about damn time. The Goldstar Leasing Relief Act would allow surviving spouses to terminate residential leases at the time of the service member's death without penalty. So that one's important. The Veterans Serving Veterans Act 5938, the Veterans Serving Veterans Act would require VA to identify the MOSs and correlate with open positions within the VA to coordinate the DOD to identify soon-to-be separated service members and to add those service members' MOSs and contact information to VA's recruiting database with an opt-out option. Require VA to implement a program to recruit, train, and certify former as ICTs to work at the VA medical facility. That's another good one. 2 more here. House Resolution 5974, the VA Cost Savings Act. The VA Cost Savings Act would require VA to identify VA facilities that would benefit from cost savings associated with the use of an on-site regulated medical waste treatment system. So they will be able to process their own medical waste at the facilities instead of having to ship it all away. That can be a money-saving deal. Last one, House Resolution 5693, Long-Term Care Veterans Choice Act. Ladies and gentlemen, this means get the veterans out of the VA substandard housing and into a private facility. We can just hope that one works out well. It says the Long-Term Care Veterans Choice Act would otherwise authorize VA during a 3-year period beginning on October 1st, 2019, to transfer upon request up to 900 veterans from whom the VA is required to provide nursing home care to the medical foster home that meets the VA standards. Please note this legislation was combined with House Resolution 5644. And 5644 was the Construction Consensus Procurement Improvement Act. So they piggybacked it on top of the construction. So anyway, they got it through. It was a pretty good trick. But anyhow, we got 1 minute left. So I want to see what it takes to open this chest over here in D Live. Treasure chest. The more you viewers engage the channel, the more the lemon chest accumulate, more and more distribute rewards. It is being distributed. Not many in there yet, but we're just starting the D Live thing, so we've got a little ways to go. Miss Belynda, Lee, Red Nation Underground, I'm getting ready to come see you. You got to go hit the can, and then I'll be right back over here, and I'll jump on your show right after I close this one up. An hour's a long time with an old ladder. But anyway, Miss Belynda, thank you so much for coming. I'm so glad to have you back. We're going to definitely keep doing this thing on Sundays. And,
yeah, maybe I can see you on Thursday after I get there.
That would be cool. I was going to keep that a secret, but now it's out of the bag. So it looks like we might be doing a live show in person together this coming week. So watch for that, folks. And with that being said, to my moderators, thank you all very, very much for attending. And all of the folks that came to hang out, moderators obviously doing a great job keeping the house in order. Everybody else came out to hang out on YouTube, Facebook, and D Live. I'm waving my hand. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Belynda.
Bye. I said thanks and bye.
All right, y'all stay in the fire.